It's a quick turnaround in MLS this week with Week 14 right back at it on Saturday after we just had a whole bunch of games on Wednesday for Week 13. So let's get right into it with this weekend's Week 14 picks. I'm going to start it off with the New York Red Bulls and CF Montreal. Montreal recently defeated New York Red Bulls 2-0, but that was at home. And this time they'll be on the road where they're a woeful 1-0-6 with a minus 15 goal differential this season. Montreal had been hot. They'd won 4 in a row in MLS and 6 in a row overall in all competitions, but that was before getting thumped 3-0 in Cincinnati on Wednesday. While that match went over the total of 2.5, Montreal has played to many unders this season at 8-4 to the under. Low-scoring games are nothing new for the Red Bulls, who were 12-1 to the under 2.5 after Wednesday's 0-0 draw with Toronto. Now, Red Bulls matches average the lowest goals per game at just 1.5. Their XGA of 10.1 ranks first in the league, and they're first in both opponent shot attempts and shots on target. New York has allowed 88 shot attempts, with the next lowest being LAFC with 112. Their 30 shots on target allowed is 5 better than Philly's 35. Montreal owns the lowest XG in the league at 11.8 in the lowest XG at 11.8 in the East, and they're 27th ranked overall in the league. Their 40 shots on target are only better than 3 teams, those being Chicago, San Jose, and Houston. The Red Bulls have 3 straight clean sheets overall under their new head coach, Troy Lesesne. Meanwhile, Montreal has either been shut out or they've shut out their opponents in 11 of 12 games so far. That could make a bet on both teams to score no a good bet, but we're just going to go under in this game, and we'll go under 2.5 at minus 150 odds. Next up, it's a brand new rivalry in MLS, and that's St. Louis City and Sporting Kansas City. St. Louis's goal scoring has dropped from the start of this season, from 15 goals scored in their first 5 MLS matches to just 7 in their next 6, and 5 of those coming in one game, a 5-1 win. Yet still, they've scored in 3 of 4 recent games, at 8 of 11, and in 4 of 5 at home. Now, some of their recent goal-scoring issues have been due to the absence of leading scorer João Klaus, who's been out since April 22nd. However, Klaus was in training this week and is listed as questionable on the MLS injury reports. SKC are getting some injured players back themselves in the lineup, and they've been slowly improving in recent weeks. Sporting pulled off a shock 2-1 win over Seattle in Week 11, and they followed that up with a 3-0 home win over Minnesota. Now, midweek on Wednesday, they also went into LA, and they drew 1-1 with LAFC. These teams are just 4 hours. They play 4 hours apart from each other, playing in Kansas and Missouri, and while they haven't played in MLS yet, there's still a huge rivalry between them in past years in different leagues. Home matches in St. Louis have gone 4-1 to over 2.5 totals this season. Now, with an electric atmosphere, Klaus may be featuring somewhat, SKC beginning to round into form in time for this rivalry, I think we're going to see a very entertaining match with lots of goals. I like both teams to score in over 2.5 at even money odds. And finally, I'll do a 3-team parlay for MLS Week 14, starting with FC Cincinnati and the Columbus Crew. It's rare not to see goals in this hell-is-real rivalry. Score lines last season were 2-2 and 2-0. In 2021, they were 2-2 and 3-2, and in 2020, they were 2-1 and 3-0. It is rare, though, to see a road team winning. A road team hasn't won in any of the past 7 meetings when these teams meet up. After a 3-0 win at home to Montreal, FCC is tops in Supporters' Shield standings with 27 points, and they're still perfect at TQL Stadium at 7-0-0. At home, they've scored 12 goals compared to just 3 goals allowed. That's bad news for a Columbus team with just 1 road win in their past 12 dating back into last season. However, prior to a 1-0 loss in Charlotte in their last road game, they had scored in 13 straight on the road. The Crew are also the league's highest scoring team with 23 goals. They won 2-0 at home to the Galaxy in midweek, marking the 6th time this season they scored multiple goals overall. They scored at least once in 11 of 12 games as well. Now, for a bigger price, you could probably go both teams to score in this game. If you want to play it a little bit safer, you could just go over 1.5 for the first leg of this parlay. Moving into the second leg, I'm going to the Chicago Fire and Atlanta United game. Atlanta defeated Chicago at home earlier this season, 2-1, just recently on April 23rd. And while they just sold Luis Araujo, who scored 3 goals for this team, to Flamengo for $10 million, he'll still be with the team for June 24th. Depending how much he plays is tough to know, but he'll still be with the team for now. Both teams have scored in 10 of 13 Atlanta games so far this season, while at least 2 goals, that being the over 1.5, has hit in 12 of their 13 games. The only game that didn't was a 1-0 win over the Red Bulls, who are the league's top underrated team. Atlanta is also poor on the road. They've won just twice in their past 22 road matches, while also keeping just 3 clean sheets. That will be a tough trend to reverse, with the home team winning 8 of 9 recent matches between Chicago and Atlanta. Fire games also tend to see goals this season, with both teams scoring in 8 of 12 and over 1.5 goals, hitting in 9 of 12 of their games. Once again, we're going to back over 1.5 goals for this one for the second leg of the parlay, and we'll wrap it up with the FC Dallas and Houston Dynamo game. Dallas is strong at home. They're 4-1-1, and they just won 2-1 over Vancouver on Wednesday. Now, Houston is poor on the road. They're 0-1-4, and they've only scored 3 rolled goals. They're the only team with just 1 away point, and they just lost 1-0 to Minnesota on Wednesday. A road team winning in this rivalry is like seeing the Yeti. You just don't see it. It hasn't happened since 2017 over the course of the past 17 head-to-head games. If you throw in 3 preseason games, for whatever that's worth, that streak is now 20. You do see goals, though, usually when these teams play. Last year, Dallas won 2-1, and they also drew 2-2. In 2021, Houston won 3-2, and the teams also drew 2-2 and 1-1. They played in the preseason this year, and the Dynamo also won 2-0, so whatever you want to count preseason play for, once again, we saw a couple goals. Dallas rarely allows more than 1 goal when they play at home. It's been 16 games at Toyota Stadium since they allowed more than 1 goal. But they do also allow a single goal very often. Of those 16 games, they've conceded in 14 of them, as well as in 14 of 16. Given the home team's success, though, in this rivalry, Houston's current poor road form, and Jesus Ferreira being hot for Dallas with 3 goals in his past 2 games, I do think Dallas likely wins this one, which you could play by itself as a single play. But for this parlay, we're simply going to ask Dallas to score 1 goal, and we'll pair that with the over 1.5 in Chicago and Atlanta and the over 1.5 in Cincinnati and Columbus, and we'll get minus 121 odds. That will conclude our MLS Week 14 best bets. Good luck, everybody, this weekend.